Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of our injury prevention in the running series. I'm CJ from American Running Company, here with Randy Clark today again.
Nice to see you, CJ.
Part 2, yes. We got into trauma in segment 1. Now we're going to be getting into a little bit of a structural imbalance in posture, how that all fits in. So we're going to talk about posture playing a big role in the manufacture of pain. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're kind of setting me up there because posture is our big thing. We look a lot into posture. There's actually when a person comes into our clinic, the very first thing we do with them is an 84-point structural analysis. And if you look, let me get that one here, you can see we look at the body in standing, we look at it in lying down, we look at it in sitting, we look at it from the side, and then we actually do a whole analysis on the cranium as well. And the reason we do that is we're looking for these imbalances, right? Because what is posture, right? Posture in general is just how you oppose gravity. It's just, there's this force that's on us all the time. Whether we're standing, whether we're sitting, whether we're lying down, gravity is pulling on our body. And because it's doing that, that's a stressor, right? It's a stressor, but it's a stressor that is constant. And if you don't do an efficient job, if you aren't really good at opposing that force is going to break you down. We talk about even small changes and how they can lead to big problems. That there are reasons why discs herniate, right? It's not just a happenstance. Oh, I bent over and my disc herniated. Like, that doesn't happen. Discs are very strong. The only reason they get to that point is they've worn down over time, and that wearing comes from an imbalance in the pressure. And we are really excellent at finding those imbalances and getting rid of them before they turn into these major issues that maybe surgery or something like that is necessary. Braces, all of those sorts of things. So if we can get posture analyzed on someone ahead of the major injury, it's something that we can get them to avoid, and they don't have to do those surgeries.
Now, quick question, does a person's weight figure into posture?
Sure. I mean, so again, it's how much stress is on the joints, right? Mm-hmm. And the more weight, the more stress. But also, it's not just weight, it's impact. Yeah. So runners are putting a lot more impact on those joints than just couch potatoes, right? It's kind of a weird thing, but oftentimes the people who exercise the most have the most problems with herniated discs.
I've seen that.
And it's because they're putting that extra pressure. Now, not all of them do, because if you're opposing it efficiently, you can do it your whole life and never have a problem. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as, oh, I was running and that's why I have a herniated disc. It's no, you were running on an improper posture and that's why you have a herniated disc. Right. So if you were in the proper posture, the disc is very, very strong and will hold up your whole life.
All right. So when American Running Company, we do gait analysis now. How does gait analysis fit into this whole?
Gait analysis is a big deal, especially for runners.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you do repetitively. Now, the thing that we all do repetitively is walk. No matter if you're a runner or not, walking is an activity, and that gait pattern, even with walking, can be very destructive. I mean, we see it all the time where, like, when someone's walking, you see one arm cutting in front of them and one arm going behind them. Now, that doesn't seem like much, right? I just did that, I didn't hurt myself. But if I do that 10,000 times a day and I do it for 20 years, there's going to be a problem. And it's like a drop of water hitting concrete, right? You drop of water on concrete, nothing's going to happen. But if there's a drip coming off your roof onto your sidewalk, it's going to bore a hole into that concrete, right? And it's because that little bit of trauma over and over and over again will destroy any tissue that's there. And so we look to find those things, and gait can be one of those major, major things. And you don't even realize it. Like, we see people that, let's say they've had a shoulder trauma, something like that, where they sprained, they got a rotator cuff issue, something like that. 5-10 years after the rotator cuff issue, they're not moving that arm when they walk.
Yeah.
Right? They've learned to protect it, and now you've just got one arm moving, and now you're creating all of this torque that will eventually wear down the tissues.
And that's your posture.
Yeah.
Your posture's not going to be the same.
Absolutely.
And let's get to the point, being in this industry with sneakers, even when I'm at an airport or something, I'll notice people are walking the wrong way. I mean, you must pick up on it too, to see the general public. Just being
my gosh, yeah. Anywhere we go, we actually take our class sometimes up to the mall and just have them watch people, because you can just see it. You can just see it. Once you learn to see it, you just can't stop seeing it.
Now, what about flat feet? How does that play into this?
So flat feet, certainly, the feet are the foundation, right? They're the foundation. They're the only thing that's touching the ground, right? So everything's built up off of the feet. And so if the foot, let's say you pronate one foot and not the other, you're going to create not only a valgus knee, right, where the knee comes in, but you're also going to have an issue where now that is creating a rotation in the hip, and now that's going to be a counteracting rotation in the shoulder, and now you might get headaches and not even know that it was coming from the foot. So having that there, and then the body is really well designed to run, to walk, to stand and oppose gravity. But if you take that foot and you take that calcaneus there, which I think I've got one here, let me see.
There you go.
So I mean, this bone is designed to hold this weight and transfer it right up through the tibia, right, which then goes into the femur and right up through the spine all the way to the head, right?
Yeah.
And it's structurally designed to do that. But if you take this foot and bring it in like this, which then takes this tibia this way, the force is still going up this way, but now the bone isn't, right? So now the bone's not supporting the force. Now all the soft tissues have to try to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to tighten up. Now you're going to have ankle problems. Now you're going to have knee problems.
Oh, ouch.
All right, that sort of thing. So getting that base solid and getting it in the right spot, and I know that's some of the stuff you do with the shoes at the store, is to get that foot so it's not pronating or supinating.
Neutral position.
And that then sets up the rest of the chain to oppose gravity properly.
Right. Very interesting. Well, this has been very helpful now. Any last thoughts on this segment before we jump into 3?
Oh, there's a lot going on. This isn't flat foot's not the only structural issue that we have. There's a lot of others that can be in there. One of the main ones we see with runners that we've seen over and over again is they have a structurally different length of their leg. They have one leg that's actually longer than the other. Now, you might not think 5-6 millimeters, a little bit, like half an inch isn't going to matter. It matters. I promise you, it matters. We see it over and over again. And not only does that get the hips aligned and where you can really oppose gravity well, but what we found is that our runners, because they get more efficient in how they do this, they set PRs right after we correct these things. Is that the body is they're not fighting that correction with every stride, and because they're not, they can go much further, much faster.
Wow, very interesting stuff. We're looking forward to getting into segment 3 in a bit, but thanks, Randy, for part 2.
Yeah, that segment 3, we're going to get into those misuse, overuse injuries, which are probably the most common things that runners run into. So make sure you stay tuned.